Does it feel like you're on a never-ending journey? Like you're hitting obstacle after obstacle, test after test? Like nothing is ever changing? Are you getting frustrated and are you ready to give up? Well, the thing is, the moment we're ready to give up is the moment just before we would get what we want. So it's time to keep pushing through and understand that these tests are here for a reason. The tests are here to see, are you ready? Are you ready for the thing that you've been manifesting? My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing, where we think that we're never going to get to where we want to be. We have a plan, we don't really know if we have a plan. Sometimes our plans are change because we're on a destined path. Every single one of us has something to achieve greater than ourselves. But when we're on the old path, we don't see that. And we could be striving for something new. We want redirection. We want something new. We want something more fulfilling. But we keep hitting what we feel like are walls or obstacles over and over again. But these are just tests. They're tests to see, are you ready? Ready for the life that you want to manifest. And this is the thing. For me, say for example, I'll give you an example of when it came to love. I was always in toxic relationships, unhealthy relationships. And I'd given myself a little bit of time. When I started healing, when I started awakening, I'd given myself a little bit of time. And then I met another narcissist. And I was like, what the fuck? But that was my last test. It was like literally, it was one final test to say, are you going to go backwards? Are you going to go back to the old life? Or are you going to say no and choose something different? So like that was my ultimate shake-up, my final test before I decided to heal myself and dedicate myself to my twin flame journey, or realize I was a twin flame. So that was one part. But then when it comes to destiny or purpose, or, you know, the life that's in alignment, your whole other life is going to crumble. And we question, why is everything going wrong? Why am I struggling? Why does it feel like my whole world is falling apart? The things that are falling apart are supposed to fall apart. They're not for you anymore. But they're there to show you what really is for you. And this is another thing. Like this is kind of what I want to talk about today. Is like literally we get so far, we hit obstacle again, and we're tested over and over, and we keep questioning, what's this all for? Am I going to give up? And this is like the analogy I've had before. Like we're climbing that fucking mountain, and the peak of the mountain is covered in clouds. So we're climbing and we're climbing and we're climbing, and we do not see the outcome. We don't see the destination. We don't see it actually happening, manifesting. And we kind of get to the stage where we're black and blue, we're after falling so many times, and we're like, what the fuck is the point? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going to give up. And the minute you say you're going to give up, that's when but you choose not to. That's when the clouds dissipate. That's when you start to see the peak. You know, I was reminded of this the other day. I was reading The Alchemist, and he was robbed a few times, and he had to do this, he had to redirect, he had to do something else to get to where he needed to be. He had to find his treasure, to find his destiny. And right before he found his treasure, he was beaten and robbed again. And this is an analogy for, you know, or a metaphor for like when we get right to the end and we're literally beaten down one more time, we can say to ourselves, I'm fucking done. I'm not doing this again. I'm going back down the mountain. It's easier. I can just roll down. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's right then that the gold will be found. And there's another like story of like somebody mining for gold. And they keep going. They've done it for years and years, and then they give up and then they leave. And 5 minutes later, somebody comes in, digs in the same spot, and they find the gold. Do you know what I mean? So like we're being tested by the universe. And I didn't even know what tests were, because I remember even with the third narcissist I mentioned, I had 3. I had an 8-year narcissistic relationship. I had a 1.5 one, and then this one was 2 months. But I remember even saying to my friend, before I knew what tests were, I was like, this is weird. There's something so familiar about this. It's like, it feels like I'm being tested. And she mentioned to me that the universe tests you. And I ended up looking into that, and I realized this is it. The universe tests you to see if you're ready, to see if you've learned those lessons. So have you learned those lessons? Do you know what I mean? And I've seen this before as well. It's like, for example, in the twin flame connection, or, you know, your destined love. right before you're given your reward, right before, after you've done so much fucking hard work, the universe is going to present you with another narcissist or another control freak or another somebody that resembles your ex. And you're like, I'm not going to bother with my twin flame connection because it's too hard. I'm going to go back to what feels familiar, not knowing that this person is a psychopath or a narcissist. And then you're like, you start to settle back into the familiar old dynamic that you used to do because you're like, oh, that's easier than the twin flame connection. And then the shit hits the fucking fan and you realize, oh, that was a fucking test. I was being tested to see, was I ready for divine love, or was I going to go back to what I always did? The same when it comes to choosing a path that's different. So if you need to leave people behind, or if we'll go with that one for a minute, your path, your guidance, your intuition is telling you the people in your environment are no longer serving you. The community you're a part of is no longer fitting. You feel uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like this is where your tests come in. Your ultimate test. It's like I was being intuitively guided for a long time to walk away from a group of friends that I loved so much. They were my soul family. I was like, this is who I am. They are who I am. They lift me up. And I used to look at them and I go, I'm just so happy to be here. So happy to have these people in my life. And then it started to get agitating. It's like your skin is itching from the inside and it's like, I don't feel comfortable anymore. These are the signs I needed to get. But eventually it gets to a stage where you're pushed out, where you know, things start going wrong. Things fall apart. It's like they fall apart for you. Something gets fucked up. It's like in a job, for example. Things keep going wrong in your job because you're working for a narcissistic boss and the shit starts hitting the fan over and over again. In any kind of relationship, family dynamic, friendship dynamic, community dynamic, you know, your whatever team or group that you're a part of, things start to feel uncomfortable. And that's when the shake-up comes. You're being tested over and over again to see if you're actually ready to choose the life of alignment or stay stuck. And you're not going to be able to stay stuck. This is the thing. You think that you're going to say, I'm going to just roll back down the mountain. I'm going to not bother. I'm actually climbing so high right now and I'm in bits, but I can't see the top of the mountain, so I'm just going to roll back down. But you won't be allowed to roll back down. This is the thing. You're literally going to be shaken out of your comfort zone. You're going to be literally bombarded with signs and synchronicities or tests to show you that this isn't right anymore. And if you don't listen, things are going to really fuck up where you actually get pushed into your destined path. This is it, like, you know, and there's a mixture here. Like, you know, we have to ask ourselves, what do I want to do? Am I going to allow this turbulence to make me give up? Or am I going to allow this turbulence to move me forward? This is what we have to see. Like, you ask yourselves, like, are you going to, like, if you get robbed and beaten towards the end, and effectively, the alchemist is a metaphor for everything that we go through on our spiritual journey. But, like, you know, being robbed and beaten is effectively what we get when we go through an awakening. We feel like we're robbed of all our people, robbed of all our past, robbed of everything that we've ever known, and beaten because we were literally working through our healing and our trauma. So we're getting to that top of the mountain and we feel like we've been robbed and beaten every step of the way. And we have that choice. We can say to ourselves, I failed, or this is too difficult, so I'm going to go back down. I'm going to roll back down that mountain. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to get robbed and beaten over and over again because you're not on the right path. But, like, when you actually start to see your tests as tests, when you see that the things falling apart are all actually falling together, this is the whole foundation thing. We were sitting on an unsteady foundation. Everything wasn't stable. The old energy, the old you, that isn't who you're supposed to be. That was a false persona that you put on to fit into a world that you no longer fit in. And you never really fit into that world anyway. You learned that world, you learned that environment, and you became accustomed to it, you became familiar to it. When you start to awaken, you start to break out of that skin, that old shell, and you start to see things differently. And, you know, you realize that the people around you are part of the moan and groan society. There's toxic energy, there's negative energy. So you want to shift out of it. But when you do start to shift out of it, things do get difficult. You lose people. You know, you lose familiarity. And you keep asking yourself, is it worth it? And this is the question we keep asking ourselves. What's the point? We're creatures of needing to see what's in front of us. So the old path was paved. There's we can see tangible results before we get there. We everything is structured and normal and planned out, and like, because you're following the sheep effectively. You know, just follow that guy and you'll get where you want to go. Whereas if you're on the destined path, or you know, your spiritual path, your alignment path, your awakening path, your growth path, your healing path, whatever you want to call it, it's not visible. So you keep climbing, and you get towards the end and you're like, what's the fucking point? Am I going to keep going? And then you get beaten and fucking and robbed again, and you're like, what am I doing? It's like, will I go back to what's easier, or what we thought was easier, or will I keep going? And it's like, you have to understand that everything that's happening is a test. You know what I mean? You will be presented with the same things again and again until you actually learn your lesson. And this is the thing. We can heal so much and then be presented with the same kind of dynamic again, because we need to heal the next layer. So if you're seeing familiar energy again, and then I won't call it a relapse energy. It's not relapse energy, because we know what a fucking relapse energy is. It's more like a retest energy. So you'll be presented with the same things again. And like, this is it. A lot of the times, if we're presented with another, I call it the robbed and beaten scenario. If we're like, so for example, if we fail the test effectively and go back to an old dynamic of a toxic relationship, it's not failing. It's not failing. That's the wrong word there. What it is understanding that you have another layer to heal. You know, you didn't repeat that dynamic because of anything that you did wrong, or you're not going backwards. It's just showing you what path you need to take next. And this is about awareness as well. Awareness of the tests, awareness of the turbulence, and awareness of the obstacles. Nothing will ever be an obstacle or a failure or a setback if you see it as a stepping stone. So every time you get robbed and beaten effectively, in other words, every time something seems to collapse, it's just showing you where you need to go next. It's showing you what no longer serves you. It's showing you to stop going back to familiar. The patterns will repeat until you say to yourself, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Do you know, for me, for example, when it came to relationships, I just stopped dating. I completely stopped. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I thought I'd healed. You know what I mean? I didn't give much of a gap between my first two relationships. But after the second one, I was like, nope, not dating for a while. And then I started, you know, I was only casual dating. But then I started, I'm going to let somebody into my life. And then I let in another narcissist. And thankfully, that only lasted 2 months. But it was my ultimate test to say, you have a choice now. Heal your fucking shit. Stop fucking dating, full stop. Wait for your twin flame, and then you won't repeat another cycle. And that's what I chose. I chose healing. I chose growth, because I chose not to go back into another repeated cycle. Because I know if I'd have continued dating in the energy that I was in, I would have repeated again and again and again. And this is what we do. We have to become so aware of whether or not we're ready for the next phase, or we need that pause in between. Or we have to become and we have to become so aware of everything. And this is the thing with the journey. We have highs and lows, but we have to analyze both the highs and lows, because the highs are different. They're unfamiliar. So they're going to lead to lows if we don't actually become aware of them, or how we're feeling, becoming aware of all our feelings, becoming aware of every single thing that happens. And this is how we kind of analyze every part of our journey. So analyze every step, analyze every good thing, analyze every bad thing. This might sound like hard work, but it's not. Once you become self-aware, like, everything you feel, everything you do, it just becomes, it's like awareness becomes a part of you, because you are awareness. You're not the thing you're aware of. You are awareness itself. So becoming aware actually becomes like breathing, effectively. But you analyze everything. If you feel good today, ask yourself why you feel good today. You know, and ask yourself, is this is this real good, or is this a false good, if you get me? You know, and sometimes if we get a high on a journey and we think we're on the right path, or we are on the right path effectively, sometimes that high is a test as well. Sometimes oftentimes the lows are a test. But analyze everything. Ask yourself, why do I feel like shit today? What went wrong? You know, and there's always something to dissect beyond what you're feeling. So become so hyper aware of every step in your journey, every path. There is a message in everything. And this is the beauty of it. There is a message in everything. Everything you do today, everything that goes right, everything that goes wrong, it's showing you something. So use it, every single thing that happens or doesn't happen even, as a way to show yourself the next step. Because as I said, you can't really see the next step. But if you become so hyper aware, so self-aware of everything you do, everything you feel, everything you don't do, everything you don't feel, this is it, like become aware of everything, then the next step becomes more visible. Do you know what I mean? Or it gets easier to take that step. But it's all about not giving up and knowing that you're being tested. This is the thing. Like, you know, we might get so far in our journey, and we could be on this high, we could be on this empowerment energy, feeling so good, feeling we've gotten so far. And then the shit hits the fan. And you think, oh my God, I've relapsed, or all my work has gone out the window, or, you know, the powerful person has disappeared. No, they haven't. You're just having a little bit of a test. It's all. It's a test. And, you know, trust yourself. Trust in how far you've already come. You've gotten up to the fucking top of the mountain. Like with the alchemist, he got to the fucking pyramids. He got to the place he was supposed to get to. Do you know what I mean? He got there, and then he was robbed and beaten again. And like, he could just say then, oh, fuck this shit, I'm after getting robbed and beaten again, I'm going to go home. But he got there, and 2 minutes later, he finds the fucking treasure. Do you know what I mean? But we get to the top, and we're like still in the energy of, or, you know, we're in the end, we get robbed and beaten for a final time, or we get tested again for a final time. And the shit really fucking hits the fan. And we're like, oh my God, everything, I didn't, oh, sorry, I know, it's like, what I mean is like, I do this myself. You get tested, and you start to go, oh, it's like your healing never happened, and you're in this energy of, oh my God, I got so far, I did so much work, and I felt so great, and now I feel like shit again, and I have to start again. No, you're not starting again. You're just being final tested. It's like literally saying, you've done all the work, you've done it all, and this final test is to ask you, are you going to listen to the person you were yesterday, that empowered person who got to the fucking pyramids? Or, sorry, these analogies are from The Alchemist, so like, I don't know if you've ever read it, but like you say that the pyramids was the destination for the treasure, you get me? So you get as far as the destination for the treasure, you keep digging and digging and digging, but then you get robbed and beaten again, or you get tested again, and you're like, fuck this shit, I'm not going to bother. And then you literally sacrifice everything that you've worked for, because you're just saying, oh, this test is after hurting me now, and I feel like shit. And this is what we do all the time. It's like literally we get so far in our healing, and this happens to me so many times, that I go into a low energy and I'm like, everything I've done is just a waste of time, and like, you know, I'm not good enough, and I'm not worthy, and I'm fucking disgusted, and all this kind of shit. And it's just like, no, I'm gonna fucking slap that out of you now. I don't believe in violence, but, you know, metaphorically. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, hello, we've climbed the fucking mountain, we've gotten to the fucking pyramids, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? You've got here. You know, just take a pause, analyze this final test, and then that will propel you forward. Understand that it's a final test. Understand that everything that is falling apart is actually just making room for something better to enter. But this is the thing, like, you know, allow the past to go. Allow that energy to go. You know, allow the things that are crumbling to crumble. But they're not setbacks. They're not going to pull you back down. Do not roll back down that fucking mountain. You've gotten so fucking far. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, I have an image now. Do you know those things that you put into the mountain for rock climbing to keep you held up, and you clip on there. Just clip on to where you are, right? Don't roll back down. And clip on there. Stay there for as long as you need. Heal this test. And then move forward. But do not go backwards. Don't allow these tests to make you doubt yourself. Don't allow these tests to make you doubt as far as you come. I know how hard it is. We can go back into a dark night of the soul. We can really relapse, or not relapse, I hate using that word because I know what a fucking relapse is. Do you know what I mean? You can really feel like you've relapsed where you haven't, as I said, just stick that pick into the fucking rock, hold yourself up for dear life, and do not roll back down. These tests are here to show you how strong you are. I know in the moment you're tested, you might think, I'm not strong, or you forget your healing for a minute. But these tests are here to show you how far you've come and ask you, are you ready for this next step? Because you are. And that's the most important thing. Do not give up. You have come so far. You really have come so far. So do not give up. Do not give up. You're right there. That goal is right above you. I'm guaranteed when you stick yourself into that mountain and you say to yourself, I'll hold on now, I'll pass this test, the clouds will disappear and you'll see the top. This is it. The gold is right there. Your treasure is right there. So do not let anything pull you back down. These are just tests, and if you become aware of every little thing in your life and every little thing you do, every little thing you feel, everything you don't do and everything you don't feel, that's when you're in the power and you're in control. That's mastery. So you'll understand that even though this might feel like a setback, it's not. It's just a little bit of a test to see are you ready, to see if you've healed everything, to see if you're going to repeat another pattern, or to see if you're going to keep going. So keep going. That treasure is right there. Your destiny is right there. You just need to push through just a little bit more. So thank you so much for listening to today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. If you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today. Nothing more than to help in your path. Oh, also I have another channel called Aligning with Angie where I share a guided meditation every week. The info for that is in the description box.